Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dakota and I'm a health coach who helps women with chronic stress accomplish their weight loss goals. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how your current habits may not be serving you and how to change them so they align more with your goals and your values. So I want to start by first talking about how habits are created. And so there's something called the habit loop. And in this habit loop, it starts with a cue. So a cue, this is what signals us that we need to do something. So for instance, maybe a certain time cues you that you need to brush your teeth or that you need to go to work or wake up. Whatever it is, it's something that triggers a response. It tells you that we need to do something. And then we typically have like a craving. So that would be number 2 in the habit loop, is you have a craving for that cue. So let's say like maybe your teeth are dirty, they don't feel good, and you have a craving to brush your teeth so that your teeth feel clean. Or maybe you are stressed, you come home from work, your cue is, I feel stressed, I had a bad day at work, and now you crave to get rid of that stress. And then that kind of leads you into how you respond. Okay, so number 3 is response. So for using that example with stress, you're cued by your workday. You come home, you feel stressed, you feel burnt out. You crave for that feeling to go away, and then you respond accordingly to that craving. So maybe your response is to sit on the couch and watch Netflix, have a glass of wine, eat some cookies. This gives you that instant gratification, making you feel better so you don't feel stressed anymore and you don't have to focus on the emotions that you may be feeling after you got done with work. This allows you to just kind of relax in the moment, right? And then we have a reward. So the reward is how we feel after we respond to whatever our cues and cravings were. So if you had your glass of wine, you watched Netflix, you probably feel more relaxed, you feel better, you got that instant gratification, and you got to ignore the feelings. So that discomfort you were feeling earlier has now gone away, and that really kickstarts those habits. So in the habit loop, the reward, the response is when things really start to become a habit, because you get that instant gratification and you know that you're going to feel better as soon as you have those things. So why do we not create habits that are good for us? You would think that if we know how important it is to exercise, eat healthy, do these things that will help us accomplish our goals like losing weight or decreasing stress, that we would want to do those things, right? But yet so many of us don't, because of something called the motivational triad. And it's something all humans deal with. Our human brain is just programmed to want to do certain things. And within this triad, there's 3 things specifically. So one is we want to seek pleasure, we want to avoid pain, and we want to conserve energy. So it is in our nature to want to do these things. It is something we all have. In Paleolithic times, this was helpful because it helped us stay alive, and it was a survival instinct and something that was good. But now in this modern day world, with the unlimited access to addictive things and things that give us instant gratification, it can actually cause more harm than good and make it really challenging to start habits that are actually good for us. Especially when it comes to like exercising, those things, you don't get instant gratification. It's uncomfortable. It is kind of painful, right? So we go back, we want to avoid pain, and exercising can be uncomfortable. So we don't want to do that. We want to avoid it. We also want to conserve energy. So exercising more isn't going to align with that. And then we want to seek pleasure. And although exercise and movement can give us pleasure afterward or even during, once we start getting into that habit of doing it, it can be really challenging to start. And we don't get that instant gratification like we would with eating cookies or eating sugar or relaxing on the couch and watching Netflix. It's just very different. So if we go back and look at then why our brain wants to create habits in the first place, it makes everything easier. It helps us conserve mental energy when we don't have to think about doing so many things. We don't have to think about brushing our teeth. We don't have to think about driving once we learn how to do it. There's a lot of things that we just do and it becomes second nature and becomes a part of our routine. Because if we always had to use our brain power to do those things, it would be exhausting. So we want to conserve energy, and that is one way to do it, is to create habits. And then the habits that we choose to create, if we want to avoid pain and seek pleasure, then typically those habits are going to align with those, right? It can be very easy to create a habit of eating something that gives you pleasure, like eating candy or sugar that makes us feel good, or drinking alcohol, and to avoid pain of exercising. So all habits really can be a good thing when we use them for our goals, but they can also turn into a bad thing and easily turn into a bad thing when we're trying to get that instant gratification, to not feel pain, to seek pleasure, and to conserve energy. So how can we hijack this habit loop? There are ways, and I just want to go through 5 of them here that I thought about and something that's helped me. So start becoming aware of your habits. So how are your emotions or things you can't control taking over your habit loop? If you are feeling stressed, what are you doing in response to that stress? Are you quickly reaching for the cookies because you're seeking pleasure and you're trying to avoid the pain and discomfort of your emotions? Really just become aware of what you're actually doing. And when you become aware, then you can start to see where you need to make changes. Okay, and then number 2 is let feelings happen. So emotions and feelings, they're really uncomfortable sometimes. If you are feeling overwhelmed, anxious, just burnt out from your day, typically we want to avoid that feeling. And that is when we try to avoid that feeling, we want to reach out for something that will give us instant gratification and let us ignore that feeling. And that's when habits can really get created. So it's okay to have negative thoughts or to not feel great 100% of the time. And so when you have these feelings, it's better to just kind of sit with them and let it happen. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to harm you. Take some deep breaths, recognize what's going on and how you're feeling, and be okay with it in the moment. And just realize that it's not going to harm you. Okay. And then next is change your response. So if you notice that you tend to reach for the cookies when you're stressed, or reach for the dessert or the alcohol or the TV, and you're starting to notice this but want to change it, then you can start thinking about things that can help you decrease that stress that also align with your goals and your values. So if you've always wanted to exercise, or if you want to take more baths or meditate or journal, but you just haven't found the time to do those things, that now is the time to start implementing that and changing your habits, changing your response to the cue and your craving. And then number 4 is prioritize what is important to you. So if you were always wishing you had time to read a book, or to exercise, or to cook healthy meals, or to food prep, now is the time to do it. When you're trying to create new habits, that's when you can say, okay, So instead of reaching for the cookies or sitting down on the couch, I'm actually going to exercise because I do have time for it. And although it's uncomfortable right now and it's not going to give me instant gratification or make me feel really good right now, I know that afterwards I will feel good. I'll feel accomplished. Maybe my mind will feel clearer. And then you have done something that you actually have wanted to do rather than letting that habit loop take over. So, if you are letting your bad habits overrun your life so that you don't get to do the things that you actually desire to do, then you will constantly feel like you are out of control and wondering, how this happened. How are you going day by day, not getting anything done or not doing the things that you really wish you had time for? So the last one is make small changes that you can be consistent with. So if you're trying to start a new habit, don't try to do everything at once. If you're trying to exercise more and you say like, okay, I'm going to exercise 7 days a week, that's just too much and it's unrealistic, especially when you're just starting out. So do little things at a time. Maybe you do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, maybe a couple times a week, you're getting outside. Whatever it is, make small, consistent changes. You want to be able to stick with it and not have it feel overwhelming and stressful. And that's how habits are created, is when you start doing it over and over again and you start seeing the reward of it. The thing is, with eating healthier or exercising, you don't always get that instant gratification. If you want to lose weight or you want to feel better or you want to get fit and strong, those things come later. And it's important to be consistent so that you can see the results later. And then that can really kick into that motivational triad where exercise becomes pleasurable and it's not painful and it actually gives you more energy in the day. So those are the 5 things. So let me just recap here. We got start becoming aware of your habits, let feelings happen, change your response, prioritize what is important to you, and make small changes that you can be consistent with. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. Also, if you want more videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel. I do a video every week. And if you are looking for more guidance on how to create new habits in your life, that is something I really dive into with my clients in my health coaching program. And if you're interested, you can click on the link in the description to schedule a free call with me to know more about how my health coaching program can help you. All right, thank you so much. Thanks for listening.